periods are a blessing and a curse. Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Hormone Diaries. It has been so long since I have filmed one of these. But we are back. The Hormone Diaries is not going anywhere. It shall continue. This video is actually sponsored by Always and is part of the End Period Poverty campaign, which I'll talk a bit about later. But first, I think we need to do a general update on my situation and on the coil, because the last episode was me getting the coil. I got the Mirena coil, which is the IUS, the one with a very small dosage of hormones and lasts about 5 years. Not about 5 years, 5 years. Also, because it's been so long since the last episode, I asked for some of your questions on Twitter, so we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A at some point as well. But first, how have I been getting on with the coil? Truth be told, I don't know. So I got the Mirena coil inserted on the 31st of October, on Halloween 2017. And as I mentioned in that video all about getting the coil, I had horrific cramps for about 2 hours afterwards. It was the worst cramps I have ever had. But they only lasted 2 hours and I managed to sleep through most of it. And then the next day was fine. It was just kind of like a dull period ache, kind of just like normal cramps, or at least what I experienced as normal cramps. And then I proceeded to spot for about a month. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it was spotting, but I was bleeding every day, but all I needed was a panty liner. That's kind of all I really needed for a whole day to be able to absorb it all. Some days I didn't even bother with that. Like, it was so light, I just free bled into my knickers. Mostly when I was just wearing black ones because I couldn't be bothered with pads. But most of the time I wore just like the thin panty liner pads for a month, basically. And then the bleeding just stopped and it hasn't started again. You may or may not know, but I haven't stopped talking about it. I was in hospital for 4 weeks with a severe flare-up of my ulcerative colitis. Now, in the past, when I've had ulcerative colitis before, my periods have stopped because my body is just like, can only deal with one thing at a time, you're super ill, let's not bleed. So I had the flare-up on top of having the coil, and I know that a common side effect of the Mirena coil is to have reduced periods or no periods at all. So could be a combo of them both. And then in January I ended up having emergency surgery, which obviously messes with your body in a whole different way. And I don't know, bodies are just interesting and clever, and they're just like, we shall only be dealing with one thing at a time here. Also, I lost loads of weight, which can also affect your period. But I have been successfully gaining back the weight, yet periods are still nowhere to be seen, which could be a coil thing. This is a thing. So many things have happened to my body lately. I'm like, who knows? To be honest, I don't even know if the coil is still correctly in place, because they recommend that you have a search up there once a month to see if the strings are still there. So just to give you an idea, here's your uterus, and then this bit here is like the cervix, and then that is what goes down to the vagina. The coil is in the uterus, and the strings hang down into the vagina so that when you need to get it out, you pull it out. So the idea is that you can have a feel up there and feel the strings at the top and make sure you can't feel any plastic, because all of the plastic should be in your uterus. But here's the thing, my fingers are too short. I can't feel my own strings. And with all of the invasive procedures and pain that I've been in recently with hospital, I just haven't felt the desire to go to the doctors and ask them to go and check out my coil and make sure that that's all still fine. Probably should do that soon though. I want to make sure that's all still good. Because to be honest, the last thing that I want right now is a period. On the other hand, I kind of do want to have a period, because to me that would confirm that my body is like healthy again and is functioning properly again. But I will say that recently, in like the last week, my boobs have started to hurt a bit more and they feel a bit more heavy, but I don't know if that's just because of putting back on weight and basically the first place that it always goes for me is boobs. Like, I lost loads of weight off my boobs and now I'm putting it back on my boobs. So yeah, that's the general update. I'm sorry it's not more precise because basically my bodily functions are just completely up in the air right now. But I will try and answer some of your questions now. Catherine Horgan has said, not about periods, but it occurred to me recently, will your stoma affect fertility/pregnancy? So my stoma is the bit of my small intestine that is poking out of my side, in which I excrete all of my waste into a bag. And no, in theory, no. Having a stoma, I can still get pregnant and I can still see that pregnancy to the end. If I got J-pouch surgery, which is the surgery that removes the stoma and like reverses the whole thing, then I couldn't. That does affect your fertility a lot more. Sophie says, periods with a stoma, how does it work? Obviously from first-hand experience, dunno, but I'm assuming it doesn't make a difference. It's 2 different organs and different parts of your body, so I don't think it would affect it. Hazel asks, do you experience any sort of PMS? So when I did have periods, the only kind of PMS that I really ever noticed was my boobs hurting. And my boobs would hurt for a good 2 weeks before my period started, which to me was just horrendous. Like, it was so painful, it was awful. But I don't think I ever really felt emotional PMS. Like, I don't think my mood ever really changed. I am very lucky in that sense, but the painful boobs are enough to deal with, thank you. Cameron says, tips and tricks for cramps. Okay, so you've got the generic ones like painkillers, hot water bottle, bath, all of those things. But if you're feeling up to it, it genuinely helps exercise. Go for a run, do some yoga stretches, because all of those endorphins that are released when you exercise help mask pain. It increases your pain threshold, basically. I know it seems horrendous, the idea of exercising when you've got period cramps, but if you can get up and exercise, it will help. Kay asks, is there anything you do/know is known to work so that you can start your period a few days earlier, or something that can delay a period by a few days? No, Kay. I have not heard of anything that can do this, but let me know if you find anything. I know a lot of people use their contraception to control their period, mostly the combined pill, because on the combined pill you take a week break where you have your withdrawal bleed, but if you continue taking the pill throughout that week, then it means it will delay your period. But yeah, I know a lot of people do that. I've never been on the combined pill, I've always been on the progesterone only pill. So can't speak from experience on that, because the progesterone only pill you just take continuously. Thank you for your questions. We seem to have tackled 2 taboo topics in one, stomas and periods, which, you know, I love talking about taboo topics. Talking about taboo subjects like periods is super important because it helps normalize it, and it should be normal. I mean, it is normal because it happens to about half of the population, and we shouldn't be ashamed to talk about our natural bodily functions in any way. So I want to talk a bit about the End Period Poverty campaign and what Always is doing to help. A recent survey was done in the UK, and these things aren't talked about often enough because the results genuinely shocked me. I guess I always assumed that period poverty wasn't something that was happening here in the UK, in my home, but it is. So the survey results revealed that 8% of schoolgirls missed up to 5 days of school in the last year because they couldn't afford sanitary products. These girls are missing school because of their period, and something that is very easily solvable if we just talk about it and help them and give them period products. 85% of schoolgirls said they didn't know where they could get free sanitary products from, and when I think about it, I'm like, do you know what? I don't know. Can you get them from your doctor? I don't think you can. I don't think you can get them from STI clinics. The only obvious place I can think of is from your school nurse. But other than that, I'm like, actually, I don't know where you can get free ones from. I know you can get free condoms galore, but no free sanitary products? What? 91% of schoolgirls admitted that friends have asked them for sanitary products because they couldn't afford any. You know what? I feel like if periods were a thing that happened to males, we wouldn't have period poverty. It's just a theory. But here is what Always is doing to help end period poverty and keep girls in school. So since International Women's Day and up until the 30th of April, Always are donating 1 pad per pack sold in select retailers, and they'll be donating those pads to schoolgirls. And they'll also be donating one pad per social media post sharing a throwback image of yourself at school with the hashtag #EndPeriodPoverty and tagging always. I shared my own on International Women's Day. This is a picture of me in year 7, so I'm like 11, 12 years old, and to be honest, it sparked a lot of debate about my natural hair colour. Am I ginger? I don't know. So to reiterate, if you buy a packet of Always sanitary products in store, then they will donate one pad. And also if you share a picture of yourself as a throwback to school with the hashtag #EndPeriodPoverty and tagging Always, they will also donate a pad. Also sharing this stuff on social media helps get the word out that this is a thing that's happening and this is a thing that we need to help end. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this returned episode of the Hormone Diaries. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you've missed this series, and let me know in the comments if you know anywhere that you can get free sanitary products. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload next, and I'll see you soon. Bye!